He is perfect in the group chat, perfect at dinner with your friends, perfect in the photos you post, the ones where his arm is around you and his smile looks like it was built for exactly that moment. But you have seen him at 2 in the morning. You have seen the way his face goes still when he thinks the room is empty. The way his thumb hovers over his phone a second too long before he decides you are not watching. You have felt it. That tiny lag between who he is for everyone else and who he is for himself, alone, unwatched, unbothered by the performance. You have told yourself it is nothing, tiredness, stress, a bad day repeating itself. But your body has not stopped noticing. Capricorn, today this deck is not here to comfort you. It is here to hand you something you already suspected and were too loyal to say out loud. Because the version of him you fell for, and the version that exists when no one is grading his performance, are not always the same person, and the cards pulled today. They start exactly where that suspicion lives. I need a second with this one, because 6 of Swords is not the card of drama. It is the card of the quiet leaving. The kind nobody announces. And when it shows up first, right here, right at the start of your reading, it tells me something in you already knows more than you have let yourself say out loud. Look at this boat. Someone is being carried away from rough water, but they are not smiling about it. They are sitting low, facing forward, unable to look back at what they are leaving behind. That is not peace. That is survival mode dressed up as calm. Capricorn, I think part of you has already started rowing away from something. Maybe not physically, not yet, but emotionally. You have gotten quieter around him. You explain less. You stopped bringing up the things that used to bother you, not because they stopped bothering you, but because some part of you decided it was not worth the fight anymore. You have started rehearsing conversations in your head that you never actually have out loud. Now, I want to say this clearly before we go further. This card, like every card today, is describing an energy, a pattern, not a certainty carved in stone. You are the only one who can hold this next to your actual life and feel whether it lands as true or not. Trust that gut check more than you trust me. If it does not fit, set it down and keep only what does. But if it does land, if something in your chest just tightened reading this, stay with me. Because right after this quiet retreat, another figure walks straight into the picture. And he is not quiet at all. He knows exactly what to say. That is the thing about this one, Capricorn. He does not lie to you with grand gestures. He lies to you with timing. Picture your phone lighting up on a night you did not expect to hear from him at all. A message that says something like, I know you have been carrying a lot lately. I just wanted you to know I see it. Simple, warm, landing at the exact moment your guard happened to be down. You read it twice. Maybe 3 times. Because it feels like being seen, and being seen is rare enough that you do not stop to ask why it arrived with such perfect precision. Why it never seems to come on the ordinary days, only the ones when you needed it most. This is the Knight of Cups, the one who shows up not with proof, but with poetry. He offers feeling instead of consistency, romance instead of reliability. He is fluent in exactly what you needed to hear. Which is not the same thing as being honest with you. A person telling the truth does not need to be this smooth. Smoothness, this practice usually means it has been used before, on someone else, in some other version of this exact conversation, with someone else's name in place of yours. And here is the part that stings a little. You know this, somewhere underneath the flattery. You have felt that flicker of confusion before, that half second where the warmth does not quite match the pattern, where something in you pauses even as the rest of you melts. That flicker has a name. It is showing up next, whether you are ready to look at it directly or not. Two of Swords, Capricorn. And I want to ask you something, not tell you something. What is it, exactly, that you are afraid you will see if you finally let yourself look? Is it proof? A message you were not supposed to find? A name that keeps repeating in places it should not? Or is it something quieter than proof? A feeling you have been out arguing for weeks, telling yourself you are overthinking, telling yourself he would never. Telling yourself you are the problem for even wondering. How many times have you caught yourself mid-thought lately? Right at the edge of a realization and pulled back before you got there. What is that pulling back protecting you from? Is it protecting your heart? Or is it protecting the relationship at your heart's expense? And are those actually two different things? Or have you been treating them as one for far too long? If your best friend described this exact situation to you, using someone else's name instead of his, what would you tell her to do? Would you tell her to keep waiting for clarity? Or would you tell her she already has it and is just afraid of what clarity requires of her next? Sit with that one for a second. Notice what your body just did while you sat there. Because the truth is, Capricorn, the blindfold in this card. Nobody put it there but you. And you can take it off whenever you are ready. Not because I am telling you to. Because some part of you has been ready for a while now, waiting only for permission to stop pretending otherwise. What comes next might make that decision a little easier to see clearly. Right on cue, Capricorn. Here it is, the Ace of Pentacles. And I want you to notice the timing. Because timing is the whole story with this deck today. Right after that moment where you almost let yourself see clearly. Something solid shows up, a concrete plan, a generous gesture. Maybe even talk of a future, a trip, an investment, something you can hold in your hands instead of just feeling in your gut. This is the same move as the Knight of Cups. Just wearing a different outfit. Where he offered you the perfect words, now he offers you the perfect proof. Something tangible enough that your rational mind, the part of you that runs on evidence and outcomes, starts arguing on his behalf. You think, surely someone planning this far ahead would not be lying to me. Surely this kind of generosity does not come from someone hiding something. But Capricorn, listen closely. A gift is not the same thing as honesty. A plan for next year does not undo what is happening right now. Sincerity and strategy can look identical on the surface, and the only way to tell them apart is time, not timing. Intentions are cheap when they cost nothing to declare, and everything to actually follow through on. This card is not proof he is faithful. It is simply the next tool in the same toolbox, offered exactly when your doubt needed to be quieted down again. Dressed up as commitment instead of what it might actually be. And underneath all that shine, something else is waiting to be noticed. Something that has nothing to do with what he is giving you, and everything to do with what he might be taking. Here is what nobody talks about, Capricorn. You can be standing in the middle of everything he has given you. The plans, the gifts, the promises, and still feel cold. Still feel like you are standing outside in the snow. Looking through a window at a warmth you are not quite allowed to have. That tightness in your chest lately. That is not nothing. Your stomach that drops for no reason in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. That is not nothing either. Your body has been trying to tell you something your mind keeps talking over, in a language older and more honest than words. Five of Pentacles is not about having no money or no home. It is about having everything except the one thing you actually need. To feel safe, to feel chosen without conditions. To stop performing okay when okay is not what is actually happening inside you. You have gotten so good at this performance. Smiling in the group chat, saying you are fine when your sister asks, posting the photo where his arm is around you, because the photo does not show the two in the morning silence. Or the way your shoulders have started living up near your ears without you even noticing when that started. Or how tired you are of holding this shape. This card is asking you gently, what are you actually starving for underneath all this abundance? Because pentacles cannot buy the thing you are missing. No amount of proof replaces the felt sense of being safe with someone, truly safe, not just provided for. But something is about to shift. A spark, a different kind of energy is arriving next, and it wants your attention badly. Let us go back to the beginning for a second, Capricorn, because the Ace of Wands is usually the card everyone loves. New spark, new passion. That electric feeling when something just clicks. And I am not going to pretend that feeling was fake. It was real. You felt it in your whole body, and that is exactly what made it so easy to trust. But here is the counterintuitive part, the piece nobody warns you about. Sometimes that spark burns so fast, so bright, so immediately, that it skips a step your instincts actually needed. The step where you get to know someone slowly enough to notice the small inconsistencies before you are already attached. Before you already have too much invested to walk away easily. Think back to how quickly this moved. How fast he made you feel like the exception. How soon it went from strangers to somehow already essential. Already urgent, already too good to slow down and question. That speed was not romance for its own sake. It was, whether he meant it consciously or not, a way of skipping your defenses before they had time to activate. This is the card asking you to reconsider the origin story you have been telling yourself. What if the very thing that made this feel like fate was actually the first move of the game? What if intensity was never proof of depth? Just proof of momentum. Just proof that someone knew exactly how fast to move. I am not saying the spark was meaningless. I am saying it deserved more scrutiny than it got. And what happened after that spark? That is where the real reckoning begins. Picture this moment with me, Capricorn. It is late. Maybe you were not even looking for anything. Maybe your thumb just moved across a screen out of boredom, out of habit, and then it stopped. A name you were not supposed to see. A message with a tone you recognize because it used to be reserved for you. A timestamp that lines up exactly with the night he told you he was busy, the same night he said he was too tired to talk. Your stomach does that thing again. The drop you have felt before, except this time it does not fade. This time it confirms, and confirmation feels nothing like relief. 5 of Swords is that exact second. Not the fight after. Not the conversation you will eventually have. Just this. The raw, silent moment where the picture finally comes into focus, and you realize you were never crazy for wondering. Never dramatic for noticing what your gut had been trying to tell you. He walks away from this card, Capricorn. And I mean walksaway.com, unbothered. Maybe already rehearsing an explanation before you have even said a word. That is what winning unfairly looks like, not remorse. Just exit strategy. Already 3 steps ahead of the conversation you have not even had yet, and the cost is not his to carry. It never is, in scenes like this. You are the one left holding the wreckage, questioning your own memory, replaying every soft moment and wondering which parts were real. But listen closely, because there is something important on the other side of this. Something that belongs entirely to you now, and has nothing to do with him at all. 9 of Cups, Capricorn. And on the surface, this looks like the happy ending, satisfaction. Contentment, the wish fulfilled. If you only glanced at this card, you might think we are closing on a high note. That everything worked out, that the story ends with both of you smiling into the camera. But remember where we started tonight. remember the mask. Because this card, right here, at the end of this reading, is the most polished version of that same mask we opened with. It is the anniversary post captioned perfectly. It is the dinner photo where everyone comments how lucky you are. It is him telling his friends how happy he is. Meaning it in the moment, while somewhere underneath, none of what you have uncovered tonight has actually been resolved. Nine of Cups is not lying about the smile. The smile is real. That is what makes it so effective. But a real smile is not the same thing as a real reckoning. Satisfaction displayed publicly can exist right alongside a private truth that has never once been spoken out loud, waiting patiently for someone to finally ask about it directly, without flinching away from the answer. This is the final layer of the mask, Capricorn. The one that looks the most like proof that everything is fine, precisely because it wants to be believed the most by everyone watching, including sometimes yourself, especially on the nights you needed to believe it too. You get to decide now whether you keep applauding the performance or whether you finally ask what is happening backstage. Because the reading does not end with a warning. It ends with a choice, and that choice is entirely yours to make. So here is where we land. Capricorn, not in panic, not in certainty about what happens next, just in clarity. The kind you have earned tonight by staying with every card, even the uncomfortable ones. Here is your one action for today. Write down, even just for yourself, the 3 moments when your gut spoke up and you talked yourself out of listening. No confrontation required yet. Just proof, collected quietly, that your instincts have been more accurate than you gave them credit for. You are not being dramatic. You are not overthinking. You are simply someone who finally decided to trust yourself again. If this reading found you tonight, tell me below which card hit closest to home. And if you want more of these honest, unfiltered readings, stay close. I will be here when you need the truth again.